Hi, so today we'll be comparing the 8 signature principal trombone mouthpieces as we've done on Bolero and Saint-Saëns 3. But this time, instead of playing in my apartment, we'll be playing in a lovely recital hall. This is Pickman Hall at the Longy School of Music at Bard College, where I teach trombone. I'm always really happy to be playing this Stevens horn, Steve Shire's new company. It's a beautiful instrument that really lets me get a lot of colors and sounds that I really have been searching for my whole life. And let me quickly introduce the mouthpiece lineup for you before we get started. First, we have a Greg Black 5G-L with a 277 throat, commonly called the John Kitzman model, after the former principal of the Dallas Symphony. Then we have a first generation Sasha Romero mouthpiece from the LI Brass Company with a 285 shank on it. Sasha being the principal of the Met Opera. We also have Ian Bousfield S model with both of these rubber bands, which are here attached, which gives it more of a orchestral tone and has some of that brilliance that Ian was known for in the LSO and Vienna Philharmonic. Then we have a Hammond custom design for Steve Witser. He played many years as acting principal of the Cleveland Orchestra and also as principal of the LA Philharmonic. We have a Greigo-Alessi 7F, the 7 being the smallest of his rim designs, and the F being the deepest of the cup, and Joe Alessi, of course, being the principal of the New York Philharmonic. We have a custom-made Greg Black for my first teacher, Carl Mazzio. He was studying with Joe Alessi at the time and got this mouthpiece before he won his audition as principal of the Buffalo Philharmonic. And the last 2 mouthpieces are also Joe Alessi designs. This is the new Laskey 60 Symphonic line, which is a really great feeling mouthpiece. One of the 3 different options for the sizes. They have a 55, a 60, and a 67, each one being kind of millimeters if you put a 2 in front of them. And finally, we have the largest rim of the mouthpieces. It's a Greigo-Alessi 1D. So it has a very, very, very wide rim comparatively and has a pretty deep cup to boot. All right, so we'll get started with the Kitzman model. We're kind of going from small to large because that's a little bit easier for my chops. And we'll do the first trombone excerpt with Eulenspiegel. This has such a really classic, just orchestral trombone sound that feels really good. Sometimes with the compactness of the rim, I have a little bit of a trouble in larger spaces, feeling that my hard articulations at loud dynamics are really centering in the way I'm hearing them in my head. But again, with adaptation and time spent with it, a lot of that would clear up. Next, we're going to go for the Romero mouthpiece, which has really the most unique and, to my eyes, just a flat-out gorgeous aesthetic look to it. It's on the smaller side spec-wise, except the shank is really large at 285, but the rim itself has such a rounded and smooth feel that it actually feels like one of the bigger mouthpieces, even though the rim size isn't on the larger side. When I've played this in my apartment in past videos, it has a completely different feel. Now that I'm playing into some space like a recital hall type space, it really has a much different sound and character to it. I find that to be really fascinating. Next up we have the Bousfield S. This has the most, I don't want to say conical, the most tapered design of all the cups in them. Whereas a lot more of them, they kind of have more of like a bowl design to them. I think that makes a pretty big difference in the timbre and directness of it. This is also one of the lightest mouthpieces of all of them, and I think that because of that lightness, I feel like I'm maybe pushing into the red a little faster than I would with other mouthpiece designs, for me personally. It just adds a lot of brilliance and a lot of front to it, to the point where I want to make sure I'm almost not overplaying the horn. Next up we have the custom design for Steve Witser, which in past excerpts has a really sweet and beautiful sound. And I'm really curious to see how it interacts with the harder articulations and louder dynamics in a bigger space here. With this one, I find at the louder dynamics and at the more forceful articulations, I have to be really, really, really clear in the sound that I want to hear coming out of the bell. If I'm not like super 100% there, it's going to back up on me just this littlest bit. So I feel like if I had really time to like stick with that mouthpiece and really adapt to it, it has something really special and unique to say. Next, we're going to move into more of the Alessi style mouthpieces. This is the 7F, which again has the smallest of the rim sizes, but to compensate with a very deep cup. What I really like about this is it feels like the most Germanic styling of the mouthpieces I've played so far, in that I can just really breathe straight into the pitch at the louder dynamics and louder articulations, that I don't have to think as much about the tongue, but that it just, and something that was different than playing Saint-Saëns down low, this playing loud and kind of faster articulations, it really feels like I just breathe straight into the instrument more than I have to think about the articulation or think about the center of the pitch quite as hard. Next we have the Greg Black Mazzio, and this is the one I've spent the most time on. I played it for about a decade, and really I think I learned this excerpt and many other excerpts on it, so hopefully that like familiarity comes across. But it also goes to show that it's not just the mouthpiece we're playing, but it's also our relationship to the mouthpiece and our comfort over time. Again, that's a mouthpiece I spent a lot of time on and just has a lot of good memories attached to it. All right, so then we have the Laskey-60 symphonic line from that new series. 26.0. With any Laskey mouthpiece, you could tell the rim size by just adding a 2 in front of the digits. So like the 55 would be 25.5 millimeters, the 60, 26.0, and the 67, 26.7 millimeters, which that one's pretty big. But this is the 60, kind of the medium model. I like the sound on this. The larger rim does mean I have to make sure my chops are absolutely focused before each new entrance. But the sound is really something that's kind of fun for orchestra playing. Finally, we come to the Greigo-Alessi 1D. This has more of that like 26.7 style, really large rim mouthpiece. If there's ever a mouthpiece where I really want to just like blow down the orchestra, or if I'm playing second and I need to support like a really full playing principal mouthpiece, this would be the one I go for. So I'm going to give it the same amount of juice that I've given all the other mouthpieces, and I've noticed in the past when I play this, it's just like it really pops out dynamically, even without giving it extra gas on the pedal. Again, just like a really big mouthpiece to play. I really like playing it. It's super fun. I don't know if I'd want to do it for a full season or even like a full solo piece of length, but it's great to kind of have that option if you really need something in the moment. So that's 8 signature mouthpieces onto Eulenspiegel in a more resonant space, the Pickman Recital Hall at Longy School of Music. Let me know what you thought. I think it should be really different than kind of the Bolero or Saint-Saëns like taste test, as it were, and that we're looking for completely different sounds in a completely different environment. And as always, thank you so much for watching.